Okay. Online students, can you hear me? Yes.
Yes, sir.
Okay, great. Okay, let's begin. So yesterday we saw all these substring index and all these functions, and we also took one practical example on it. Okay, scenario based question we saw. Now let's jump on the next important scalar function, how to convert integer to string. Okay, so when I'm writing select Dinesh as a string plus Kumar, what will it give us in the output? What do you think it will give us in the output? Okay, if I execute this, what will it give me? It will give me Dinesh Kumar all together, right? Yeah. Now, if I give here select 21 plus 22, what will it give me? 21, 21. Put it why? Here it's not getting added, right? Here it's returning Dinesh Kumar. Then why will it return 21, 21, 42? Okay, great. Because these are the strings. Whatever we are passing in the single quote are the strings. So when I'm writing plus in between those strings, it will join the strings. But when I'm writing the numeric values, it will add them. It will take as an addition symbol. Okay. So if I'm executing this select 21 plus 21, I will get 42. Okay. Next, now what will I get? Because I am passing it in the single quote. That means it's treated as a string. So if I execute this, it will give me 21, 21. Okay. And now Dinesh plus 21, what will it give me? How? It is not string, right? How it will convert into string? It will give us error because one is a string, another is a numeric value. If I want to write this like as a string, then I need to pass it like a string. Now if I execute, I will get Dinesh 21. Got it? Yeah, write this. I don't have employee table, I think, because yesterday I inserted SSD in my laptop. So hard disk is removed and all those things were stored in the hard disk. So I need to create this employee table first and then insert the values. Because we will be using this employee table again and again. That's how I have designed my all the modules. All modules are dependent on the previous values. Okay. Now if I view, select star from employee. And if I execute it, then I'm getting my employee table here in the output. Okay. Now let's try to cast them together. Okay. So we learn this plus function, right? So what we'll do in this employee table, we are having this address, city, employee first name, employee last name. I think we don't have this pin code, right? Pin code I had created, but it's not present in my address. So let's try to cast this column. So we'll select employee ID. Okay. Then in the next column, we will take we'll cast them together address, city and states. Do we have address, city and state here? No, we have address and salary. Okay. So let me take a salary here. Address and I will pass here. We'll pass here salary. We'll cast this salary. Okay. So what I did here, I took the employee ID separately and then I casted address plus salary. But actually I had to cast address plus pin code. Now in the many detailed table, we will be having address in the separate column and the pin code in the separate column. We don't have such table present, but suppose if we are having, and then to cast that pin code in the address column, we can use it like select, give the employee ID or any column you want. Comma means it's called this column is not getting added with anyone. Okay, separately it's getting printed. Then I'm taking the address plus means I am casting it, adding it. Okay, and as salary is a no numeric, right? So we need to use this cast function and convert that salary as a varchar. The numeric data will convert into the varchar data and we will cast it with the previous one so that it will get added and then we can print it in the output. Got it? Yeah. Suppose if I want to add the space, how can I add? Can I give it like this place space single quote and like this? Let's see. Yeah, we are getting space here. Got it? Yeah. So these are the use cases. Okay. In the interviews, they will be asking you questions on the use cases base only. Okay. Now let's jump on this is null function. This is null function is very important function. Okay. While creating stored procedures, while creating stored procedure, while creating views, that while creating common table expressions, we will be using this is null function a lot. So what is this is null function? Is null function means suppose I'm writing a code or I'm creating a code to add two numbers. For example, I'm creating a code to add two numbers and I'm giving variables. Suppose I'm giving num1 is equal to integer data type I am giving suppose, and num2 also I am giving as a integer data type. Num2 is equal to integer data type. Okay. Then suppose if I am not passing any value in the num1 and if I am passing some value in the num2. If suppose I'm giving these two variable num1 integer, num2 integer, and I want to do the addition, I have written complete code to do the addition of these two numbers. Okay. And what am I doing here? In num1 I'm passing suppose 6 I'm passing here, and in num2 I'm not passing any value. I'm not passing any value. Means it will be treated as a null value, right? So if I try to add these two functions, do you think will we get any output here? How? How? Where it is written null means 0. Zero is 0. Null is null. Got it? So that's why we need to use this is null function. So when we will use is null function will assign temporary value to this null value. Means suppose if I am writing here integer num2 is equal to null. Now null is not the integer, right? Null is not the numeric value. Null is not equal to 0. Understand that. In data analysis, we need to remove the null values. Got it? If it was a zero value, we could have kept it. Okay. So is null function, what it does, so it will replace that null value with some temporary value. Means that value we can pass it. Now this is, we are going to do suppose addition. Now we are, suppose in the num2, our user inserted null value, our user typed null, or he left it blank. Blank means also null. Okay. Then we can use here is null function, and we can assign null comma 2 or null comma 0. Null comma 0 means whenever null will be coming, that null will be replaced by the 0. Okay, this is how we need to define that. Null means 0. We need to define. It's not by default stored anywhere that null means 0. Okay, don't do this mistake. So select is null function, then null, and the first value is a null. Now what am I doing here? Whenever I will be getting null value, I'm replacing that null value with the first value is null. And even suppose if I want to pass some number, I can pass it like 0. Means what will happen, whenever I will get this null value, it will be replaced with the 0. In the back end, it will be replaced. We will not able to see it. Okay. Even if you want to replace with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, you can replace it. Got it? So this is the is null function. So what this is null function does? Okay. Is null function is a built-in functional. And what it does, it assigns the temporary value to this null. Okay, it will not assign by default. We will push it. We'll push that we want 0, we want 1, we want 2, or we want some string there. Okay, this value is a null value. Okay, yeah, great. So suppose we are having one. I think I had created these columns, but okay, let me see. Okay, so suppose I'm having one table. In that table, I'm having first column as employee ID, second column as a employee first name, and then I'm having two more columns, office phone and home phone. Office phone and home phone. Now, what I need to do here, I'm taking details for suppose ID card. And in that ID card, I want to print only one phone number there. And first preference will be for me as an office phone. Okay. And if suppose office phone is having null value, then we will take this home phone. So this is how this is null function works. So is null function will look for the first value here in the office phone column. If office phone column is having null value, then that null value will be replaced with this home phone. Got it? Yeah. So this is how this is null function work. Means what will it do? For the first parameter, it will check if it is there null, then it will choose the second parameter. Okay. Yeah. And if the first parameter is having values, then it will go with the first parameter. Got it? This is how this is null function works. Now I don't have table to explain you, or if you want to create a table, you can create a table. You can alter a table employee. You can add two new columns, office phone and home phone. There are 8 employee IDs in our table. So for first 5 employee IDs, give office phone number and don't give home phone number. Last 3 employee IDs, give home phone number, don't give office phone number. So for last 3 employee ID, as office phone number is having null values, so it will take home phone number as a phone number in that particular column.
3 parameters is there that time one. Which one is there? Second one.
Is null will take only 2 parameters. Now if I selecting it, you can see here expression, comma, replacement value. That's it. Only 2 parameters can be passed. Okay. Next, now we are having this unit test. Do we have? We are having this unit test table. So let me view this. Select star from unit test. I think I don't have. It's not having unit test. Let me execute this. Now it's stored the unit test. Now, if I executed this, then I'm getting the unit test table here. And in the unit test table, you can see ID column is having 1 and 2 ID number, and the third column is having null. And in the name, we are having Dinesh, John, and John. Suppose I am trying to import data from my ID column here, okay, from this unit test table here. So I'm selecting ID column and I'm selecting name column, from which table? Unit test table, and I'm applying filter where ID is null. Is null means, now you can see here in the ID column, one ID is a null ID, right? So if I write where ID is less than 2, let me make it as a comment first. Let me make it as a comment and let me view you like this. Suppose first I am writing where ID is equal to null, sorry, where ID is less than 2, which records will I get here? I will get the record only one for the Dinesh. Now null is in the picture or not? It's not in the picture. Where is in the picture? Even if I try, if instead of giving greater than 2, if less than 2, if suppose I give greater than 1, okay, and if I execute it, still I'm not getting the null value here or the null employee ID details. I'm getting employee ID details when I'm passing here less than 2, then I'm getting for employee ID 1, and when I'm passing here greater than 1, then I'm getting for employee ID 2. This null is getting ignored. And there will be many employees after joining the company. They may not have the employee ID for first few days. They will be stored with the null values, right? So then whenever I'm fetching details for them, it's not viewing me. So for that reason, we need to use here is null function. So we will write where is null id comma 0. Id comma 0 means wherever I will get id is equal to null, or wherever I will get id as a null, then that null will be treated as a 0. So now if I wrote show me the records from this unit test table where id is less than 2, and I'm writing here is null function. So is null function, the null id will be equating with this 0. So I will get the records for Dinesh and null here. Got it? Yeah. I'm equating it with 0, that's why I'm getting it. If I'm equating with this 2, will I get it? No. If I'm equating this 2, will I get it? No. Then when will I get this? If I'm writing here greater than 1, greater than 1, and if I execute it, then you can see 2 and null I'm getting here, because I'm giving null value replacing with this 2, and greater than 1 means it will consider that null value as a 2. Got it? But always try to equate this null value with the 0. Okay, so if I'm writing here less than 1, then I will get only the null records. Got it? Yeah. So suppose you want to view only those employee details whose employee ID is equal to null, then you can use this is null function ID comma 0 and less than 1. Less than 1 means 0, and all the nulls are equated with the 0. Got it? So these are the practical based question. These are the scenario based question. Okay, if you prepared well here, if you did practice at home, you will be passing through any, you will be going through any interviews. Okay, you will be able to pass it. Write this. Now you guys have already created unit test table, right? Yeah. Online students, any doubt? Shalini, Harika, Pratiksha, any doubt?
No, sir.
Okay, great. Don't write this. This I told you just for the understanding purpose. Let me make it comment. Don't write these comments, okay? Because after completing this module 3, I will be sharing this complete notebook with you. This one. Still half is remaining. Module 3 is the biggest module in the SQL as compared to other six modules. And module 3 is having all the intermediate concepts. On these concepts, only higher concepts are developed. And module 1 and module 2 are the basic concepts. Okay. Today is a Thursday. Okay, shall I go ahead? So now we will see what are the aggregated functions. System defined aggregated functions. So everybody knows that those who have learned any other programming language like Python, Java, or C, C++, you might be aware of what are the aggregated functions. Okay. So aggregated functions, these functions operate on a collection of values and returns a single value. It operates on a collection of values and returns a single value. Now there are many aggregated functions. For example, max is aggregate function, min is aggregate function, average, sum, subtract, count. Got it? So these are the aggregated functions. Now suppose we are having employee table. I want to see the maximum salary where from my complete employee table I can use this max aggregated function. So select max, from which column I want to see the maximum value, from the salary column. So I will write salary. If I want to give that column name for the temporary purpose, I can give the alias name as a maximum salary, and from which table, employee table. So if I executed it, then maximum salary in employee table is a 5,000. Now I want to view the maximum salary for Indian employees. So I will write select max salary as maximum salary. As maximum salary I'm giving, that's why here you can see the column header I'm getting as a maximum salary. If I'm not giving it, then what will I get? Nothing will I get there. I will get empty. Okay. No column name like this. No column name 5,000. Okay, this is the alias name I am giving for viewing purpose. Now tell me, I executed this. Is it getting stored in my SQL server or not? Is it getting stored? Where is it getting stored? If I open my database and if I choose this SQL January database, where this statement is getting stored, or where this only 5,000 as a maximum salary is getting stored? No, these are the top of the table queries. These will not impact our tables. These are used only for the viewing purpose, not for the storing purpose. So these queries are called as top of the table queries. What will it called as? Top of the table queries. Okay. And if you want to see, then you can check in your database. Are these getting stored anywhere? No. Are they altering our table? No. Are they making any changes in our existing table? No. Got it? Just for the viewing purpose. Okay, if you want to store it, you can store it. But we are not storing here. We are just viewing it. Okay. So the first function we saw, maximum function. Now suppose if I want to see the maximum salary from employee where address is equal to India, what will it do? It will filter for India. For India, maximum salary is 3,000. For India, maximum salary is a 3,000. Now same we can find the minimum salary. Select salary minimum as minimum salary from employee table. If I'm executing, then you can see the minimum salary is 1,000. Then if I want for the Indians, then what will I write here? Where address is equal to India. And I will execute it. So now I will get the minimum salary for the address India. So what it is doing actually, there are many salaries available. It's aggregating them. It's filtering and aggregating them. Now average salary, I will write average salary is 2781. Now how the average is calculated? Sum of salary divided by count of employee IDs from employee. Got it? So if I executed this, the same average salary I will get 2781. Got it? Yeah. Execute this function and understand it. I hope that online students are getting it. If you are not understanding, please let me know. Wipro off campus hiring is out now. Freshers. Link I will share. Position is project engineer. Salary up to 6.5 lakh. Eligibility BE, BTech, BSc, BCA. Now, if you are planning to, like give this exam by doing cheating, then make sure that you will study well during the trainings. Now, have you heard the news of Infosys? They fired 700 employees from their Mysore campus. Why? Because they didn't pass their training exams and all. They give three chances. From the early stages only they give three chances. So these 700 students couldn't clear. And why they couldn't clear? Because they cleared exams like bata dena thoda bata. Got it? So talent always beats. Okay. So always good to have talents. Even if you are seeing around people are getting more than they deserve. And if suppose you think that you are a deserving person, but you are not getting, one day you will get it. And once you got it, that will not leave you. But for the others, those who don't deserve but they get it, it will not be with them for a longer time. Be a chat GPT of yourself. Now people say that job market is shrinked. Actually, job market is there only. The number of the first are increased now. Like everyone wants to come in the IT field and join without studying. They don't want to put much efforts, but they want to apply for all the posts. Initially, what was there? Only the dedicated students were applying. Now everyone is applying there because of campus drives are there. They can do exams from home. Somebody will help in first two exams and they will clear and they will feel that I can clear, I can clear. And interviewers are nowadays too smart. In the interview, within 5 minutes, they will understand that is he reading or is he telling on his own. Even while taking mock interview, I will understand that like that person has studied or not. From only one question, I will get it. Now, before conducting mock interviews, I give some tests to solve you guys. Many people take the help of ChatGPT, copy paste, and sir, I did it, sir, I did it. I will understand from the very first line that is it a copied code or is it done by yourself? Because I taught you, right? So, what kind of syntax you will follow? The one I taught you, right? To use the foreign key reference, there are 3 to 4 ways to use foreign key reference. Now, how I taught you to use the foreign key reference? First, create the primary key table. Then, suppose I am having here employee, suppose I am having here ID column in the new table, and I want to reference this ID column from the new table to the employee ID from this employee table. How I taught you? ID, then foreign key, references, then employee ID. Got it? First, I will write the table name, that employee table, and then I will write the employee ID here. This is how I taught you. This is how I taught you, right? And some students, what they do, they use the chat GPT, and chat GPT will give us like ID, foreign key reference, as will give the foreign key reference name, and then they will give the column. Now, I have not taught you to give the foreign key reference name. We are going with the system default foreign key reference name, right? We are not giving manual foreign key reference, and they are writing. I will get it because I haven't taught you. Then how can you write it? Got it? Even if you are writing, then you should be able to explain me that why this foreign key reference is given or what is this. Even if I ask them, then they will not be able to tell that that is a foreign key reference name I am giving you. So that while dropping that constraint, that time I can use this constraint name. Actually, I'm giving the foreign key constraint name manually, so that while dropping it will be useful for me. They will not be able to answer it. Okay. So just study, give your 100%. Whatever you are learning, try to understand it. Okay, don't take the use of ChatGPT and all those things because they are not the permanent solution. Permanent solution is you. Okay, nobody can snatch knowledge from you. Okay, and whatever I'm teaching here, that is more than enough for your level. Whatever the things I'm working in the industry in my company, I haven't left a single thing behind here. Store procedures, views, then triggers and all, everything we're gonna cover here. Okay. Next, let's see how we can create user-defined functions. So first we will understand what are the different types of user-defined functions and how they work, and then we will take one example. Okay. Okay. So in the user-defined function, there are two types of user-defined function. First one is a scalar valued function, and second one is a table valued function. In table valued function, it is further divided into two types: inline or single line table valued function, and second one is a multi-line or multiple statement table valued function. So let's begin with the scalar valued user defined function. Functions which we write that accepts input parameter and returns a single value. All these scalar valued function will returns single value. It can return any data type. Means we can return in the data type integer, varchar, or big int, any data type we can return in the output. A single function at a single point in time will return only one data type. That means we will get output as a single value, right? So if there is a single value, then how many data types will be there? Single data type, right? So that's what this third line is telling us, that single function at a single point in time will return only one data type. Yeah. So let's create one function. So to create a function, we can simply use create function, or you can play safely by writing create or alter function. So what this create or alter function will do, if suppose I'm giving the function name as a fn underscore get employee full name, if this function is not present in my database, then it will create. And if it is present, then it will alter. I will not recommend to use the way I am telling you, create or alter function. If you are feeling discomfortable, you can use it. Or to create function, you can simply write create function followed by the function. Okay, to alter function, you will write alter function followed by the function name. Okay, so while giving the function name, as we are creating the user defined function, so I will prefer to write fn underscore first. F1 underscore, why am I writing? So that if I'm using that function any point of time, or if anybody from my team is using, if it is having fn underscore at the start, then we will understand this is the function that we have created. This is the function that we have created. So this is just the nomenclature I am following. It's not mandatory. Even you cannot use anything. If you didn't use anything, that is also fine. And if you try to use some other words, that is also fine. So I am using here fn underscore, and I am giving my function name as a fn underscore get employee full name. So actually I am creating this function to club these employee first name and last name together and get a employee full name. You can see I'm clubbing these two values, first name and last name, and I'm getting only one value together. That's why it is called as scalar function. That's why it is called as scalar function. So let's create function called as create function fn underscore get employee full name. And while creating function, I'm passing here two variables. First variable is a at first name. Data type I'm passing varchar and giving character length as a 50, comma. Second variable I'm passing here as a last name. Data type I'm giving here varchar 50, and I'm closing it and I'm executing it. Okay. So do you think it will execute? No, because we are creating a function. We haven't given here function logic. We are not creating a table. If suppose I had written here create table, function underscore get employee full name, it would have executed this. but we are creating the function, so we need to pass the logic. Now to pass the logic, after passing the parameter, here I am passing the parameters only. Now I will pass the logic. Okay. After passing the parameter, we need to write here returns. Returns means now it will concatenate or it will club them together, right? And it will give us some third output here. So in the return, I am giving data type as a varchar and I am giving character length as a 101. Now, after adding this employee first name and employee last name, now both of them are having varchar data type. Then in the return object, which data type I will get here? Varchar only. Suppose if I passed here integer, will it give me output? No. Got it? Yeah. Then in this as, begin and end, we need to pass our logic. In this as, begin and end, we need to pass our logic. Remember the syntax. Syntax is first create function followed by the function name. Okay. Then we will pass the parameters that we want to use it here. Then returns, then give the data type of the return data. Then start with as, begin. Start with as, begin, and after begin give our logic, user defined functions logic. So logic is that return. What I'm going to do, I'm going to concatenate. Concatenate what? First name and last name. So concatenate. Why am I using trim here? Because suppose if there are unnecessary spaces, it will trim it. Okay. So trim at employee first name, comma, second parameter I'm passing space here, comma, and third parameter I'm passing here at the rate last name by trimming it. Okay. And I'm writing here end. So this is the whole syntax to create a user defined scalar valued function. So now if I executed this, commands completed successfully, that means we have created our function. Now where these functions will be getting stored? Let me refresh it. Databases, then expand our database name. Then in this programmability, there will be a stored procedure. Here will be the function option. And in the function option, we have created scalar valued function. So if I expanded scalar valued function, then can you see the name? Can you see this name? dbo.fn underscore get employee full name. Now while it's getting stored, which name is given here? dbo.fn underscore get employee full name. But we had created only fn underscore get employee full name. So while getting it stored in the database, automatically it will be added as a dbo dot database object. Okay. Let me hide this. Now I need to call this function. We created this function. Once we created this function, it will store in our database and we can call that function n number of times in the future. N number of times in the future, because this is not the top of the table pane. It is the function that is getting stored in our database. Okay. So let me call this. So while calling, we need to write this full name. While creating, we are giving this fn underscore get employee full name. But while calling them, we need to call by using this dbo dot, because by this name only it is getting stored here. Okay. So select dbo dot fn underscore get employee full name. Then how many parameters we had given there? Two parameters. First is a first name, second is a last name. So I passed here first name as a John, second name as a Smith, and as full name. And if I executed this, then you can see it has concatenated. Got it? So we got the employee full name by passing the two characters. Now second name also, suppose Dinesh Kumar, and if I execute it, Dinesh. Got it? So this is how we can create the user defined functions. Let's create one more function here. I'm creating a function called as fn underscore add numbers. So in this add number functions, I will be adding two numbers and I'm passing two parameters here. First parameter at the rate number 1 and I'm giving data type as a integer. Second parameter is at the rate number 2, giving data type as a integer. Now these both parameters are having integer data type. So while returning the value, which data type we will get? Integer only. So returns integer, then logic will begin from as, begin, then return. Now in the return, Is null. Why am I using is null? Because suppose my user inserted at the rate number one value as a null value, then it will take it as a 0. So I'm writing return is null at the rate number one first parameter comma 0. That means if my user insert 0 in the first parameter or null in the first parameter, then null will be equated to the 0 plus is null at the rate number 2 comma 0. That means if user inserted number 2 as a null or if he left it blank and tried to go ahead, it will take by default as a 0, and then we are ending our logic. So let me store this. Got it? It will get stored here only. So let me refresh it. Programmability. Then in the functions, in the function scalar value function, you can see here second function we got dbo.fn underscore add numbers here. Okay. So now if I want to call it, how can I call it? Select. Then which name? dbo dot fn underscore add numbers. Okay, add numbers, and then what will I do here? What will I do? I will pass here values. Suppose I'm passing here 5, comma 6, and if I want to give the function name, I will give, else I will execute it. You can see that 5 plus 6 is equal to 11. Suppose if I passed here 0 or if I passed here null, then as I'm using a reasonable function, if in the number 2 null is coming, then it will take it 0. So if I execute it, I got the 5. Any doubt in this? No doubt? Okay, great. So shall we stop here today or shall we continue with the next example? Okay, shall we stop here today then? Yes? Okay, great. So tomorrow we will be learning this multi-line functions. Scalar valued we saw. Now tomorrow we'll see table valued function, how we can create inline and how we can create multi-line table valued function. So after completing this multi-line and inline table valued function, we need to learn this case. Actually, case I was about to cover in the module number 5, but we'll cover it in the module number 3 as well. Case is nothing but the if-else kind of statement we are having in the SQL. Okay, if that condition is getting passed, then give this value. If that condition is not getting passed, then give this value. That is kind of if-else kind of statement. That are nothing but the case statements in the SQL. Only these 3 points are remaining from this module 3, and we will try to complete this module 3 by tomorrow only. In this week, if we completed module 3, then in the next week we can complete module number 4 and module number 6, and module number 5 is a big module, so we need at least 5 days to complete. So in the next week we can complete this module number 5. Okay, so that's it from my end. If you guys are having any doubts, you can ask me, else you can drop
Sir,
off.
sir, I have doubt. Sir,
Yeah, Shalin.
sir, in function, creating function, no, sir. In that we have to use variable table only, sir. Like you have used at the rate number 1, at the rate number
No,
2.
it's not like that. You can even pass your, suppose you are
Just
having
like
employee
I
table,
do.
right? So you can pass columns also there, no problem.
Okay.
Okay.
I
If
thought
you
only
want, I will
variables.
take one more example today, tomorrow on the scalar valued
Yes.
function. And
Okay.
what we will do, already we have created this fn underscore get employee full name function. We will
Yes, sir.
implement on the table, okay?
Okay, sir.
In the first name, we will take employee first name. In the last name, we will take employee last name, and we will view it, okay?
Yes. So no need of only at the rate like variable. No need, no, sir. That's one.
Variable means you are generalizing it so that you can pass any names there. Now, what will I do tomorrow while taking employee first name from the column? I will equate with the at the rate first name. So I will write
Yes.
there where employee first name is equal to at the rate first name from employee table, and then employee last name is equal to @last name from
At the
employee
rate
table.
of.
So
Okay,
what will
sir.
happen in the variable first name? It will take employee first names from
Employee.
the employee table, and variable last name, it will take employee last name from the employee
Employees.
table. And we will
Oh,
get the separate column over there as an employee full name.
oh, yes, sir. Understood.
Okay?
Sir.
Yeah.
Yes,
So
sir.
tomorrow we'll see that example.
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir.
Yes, thank you. Have a good day.